Well, guess what? The footings are finally poured. And okay, here it comes. Yes, Jonathan's going to use another great new product. Well, it's not all that new. As a matter of fact, ICFs, or insulated concrete forms, have been around for a long time. And I've chosen to use Advantage from Plasti-fab. Now, I'm not just going to use this below grade, but I'm also going to use it for the first floor of the Clark house. So what I thought I'd do is I'd go talk to Pat and see how this works. Hey, Pat, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you, Jonathan?
I'm great. Hey, I built my house. What could be better, right? What I thought I'd do is we'd kind of go through the ICF, the Advantage ICF, and look at how we got from the beginning to this point. In other words, originally we were looking at doing a stick frame home or a timber frame home, and we decided, hey, this is such a cool product, why don't we try this? So I brought my plans to you guys, and what happened from there?
Typically, with an ICF, you have to consider the thickness of the wall. This one's 11 1/4 inches thick. With the drywall on it, it's almost 12 inches, so that's what you have to consider, but any shape, any size, we've pretty much done everything.
Right, and now, of course, we've got our footings poured, and we're ready to put the block in place, so what do we do here?
Okay, what we have to do is establish our points. Obviously, the surveyors came by and gave us some reference points. We have to come off the reference points, square up the building, snap our lines, put our kickers down, and start laying block.
That's it, huh?
That's it.
Hey, well, I'll give you a hand, man.
Okay, let's go.
We've let these concrete forms cure for a few days before we come in and start laying our block. Now, using the architectural details, the structural engineer has specified the size of these footings and the reinforcing bar that is placed in it. So we're going to do the same thing off of this corner. Take our measurement and snap our lines for the block. The other thing that's kind of neat is we're doing what's called taking a foot. In other words, I'm actually laying the 1 foot mark on the line versus the end, because sometimes the end of your tape gets all bunged up. You know how your original tape measure? That might not work sometimes. So that way, if you go right on the 1 foot mark, add a foot on the other side, you know you're perfectly on. Once we figure out where our corners are, we snap chalk lines to give us a straight and true line throughout the forms. If we measure from corner to corner on a square, we can make sure that the square is a square. A powder-actuated nailer is used to place the 2x4 kickers in each corner. The Advantage block arrives on site in installments as you need it. In this way, your site doesn't get cluttered with a lot of product lying around. Got it. Yeah, I've been working out at the gym a little bit. Actually, these weigh 800 pounds. No, not exactly. That's the beauty of the system.
You're exaggerating.
Lightweight. Am I exaggerating a bit?
Yes, just a bit.
Yeah, okay, so Blair's carrying one too, so they can't be all that heavy, right? Here we have 6 inches of webbing sandwiched in between 2 pieces of expanded polystyrene. Now think of these webs as the studs in the wall, and that's where your reinforcing bar is placed. Well, it's time to start placing the first course. We start in a corner and then work out from there, making sure to place each block tight against the previous one and also tight against the 2x4 kickers in each corner. Now we just butt the blocks tightly together. A good rule of thumb here, for the overlap of your rebar, here's the formula. 40 times the diameter of the rebar is your overlap. Pretty simple. Thanks. So now we can start our second course. The second course overlaps the first and begins locking the ICF form together. And that's all there is to it. From our plans, we begin laying out the blocks. Wow, this is so easy. Even a guy like me can do this. Okay, Blair, I'll finish up. Advantage has designed this really cool scaffolding system. It allows us to work on higher courses safely and maneuver around the forms. The vertical reinforcing bar is dropped in between the block webs. Now, by tightening or loosening the angled supports, you can align or straighten your concrete walls. Well, now it's time to pour the concrete. The Lafarge trucks back up to the pumper, and away we go. Just in case you're wondering, the red tape on top of the blocks is used to protect the blocks during the concrete pour. It's removed when we start to put the next layer of blocks on top. One of the advantages of this ICF system is its ability to be vibrated. Now, some products do not recommend vibrating, and this can lead to improper filling of the forms. Vibration helps the concrete to settle into all areas of the ICF block. When you're filling ICF forms like this, a pumper truck is absolutely essential. A couple of other things to remember. Once these forms are filled, the EPS stays in place, giving us a thermal mass. With a conventional form, you'd have to peel the plywood and throw it away. No waste here. We top place or wet set more vertical reinforcing bar, and this will help us to attach to the next course of Advantage block. It's pretty cool. Just a few more adjustments, and we know our walls are true and square. Just a couple of days for the concrete to cure inside the forms, and you're ready to build more block on top. Well, it's always important to keep that job site clean. Well, here we are, back at the Macaulay Clark development. Lots happened over the last few weeks, and I thought what I'd do is maybe take you on a little spin around and show you some cool things. Come on. If we look down on the Clark house, you can see the first floor is already poured with those beautiful Advantage Plasti-fab ICF blocks. There's the tunnel from the underground garage to the basement. Once you're in the basement, you can look up and see the new floor joist system. Step up top, and this is the first floor of the Clark house. And that's where my kitchen's gonna be. These are called window bucks. When you're pouring a concrete or insulated concrete form, you need to create a rough opening using bucks. What we're doing here is porcupining. That means cross-nailing. And the porcupining allows the buck to adhere to the concrete. One of the biggest changes here on the site is that we've actually lowered the Macaulay house back down onto its brand new ICF concrete footings. Now, you're sitting inside the underground garage, and that load is being carried by a cantilevered I-steel beam. Okay, I know you're wondering, how did they get the house back down? Well, take a look. Remember when the great guys from Zebiak House Moving came and helped me lift the house up? Well, the process is almost identical in reverse. The only difference here is that we actually had to move the house 8 inches to the west. The house is now sitting on its new home, that beautiful insulated concrete block. On top of the block is a 2x12 pressure-treated plate. The top plate is attached to the concrete by the use of bolts that were wet set when we were pouring the concrete. Oh, and here's one of those bucks that we talked about. For every opening in the insulated concrete form, whether it's a door or window, you need one. Well, just like the morning news and the 6 o'clock version, every day on the job site something new happens, so we'll keep updating you.